grief resurface. We lost our child, Anthony. He was a year old many years ago with heart disease. He had a heart defect.
Okay. What specifically was wrong with his heart?
He had hypoplastic left ventricle, which means the left chamber of his heart did not form when he was growing. So he was born 7 weeks premature. He had the heart issue and then fluid in the lung, and he also had trouble with swallowing food and formula, so he had really multiple issues that he required surgery for, and a lot of the year that we had him, he was spent in the hospital and with us visiting him at the hospital.
You mentioned that your grief's now resurfacing. What kinds of things trigger your grief?
Usually related to children. I can hear a child in a baby voice calling or cooing. Might be a book that I see on a display that was, important to reading to my kids, or some songs maybe that were playing at the time, popular songs from the time that we lost Anthony. They would trigger like just a wave of sadness and tears.
Okay. How did you deal with your grief in the past?
In the past, I had a lot of support. My husband's one of 7 children. I'm one of 7. My husband's one of 9. So we have lots of brothers and sisters and parents that were all able to rally and help us. They supported us and loved us and helped with chores and meals. And then, of course, when Anthony passed, they were there as well to pray with us and pick up the pieces and to give some much needed time to us as a couple and babysit, or even take Christopher. Some of the uncles would take him out and do things with him, so he would really have special time too. So probably the biggest thing that helped me cope in the past was family. Then the second thing was my faith in our church. I was born and raised Catholic, and the church is very important to me. We belong to St. Priscilla in Livonia, both the women's prayer group and the other council, just mass and prayer with Father. That was probably the next best thing to family being there.
Okay, and how do you deal with it now? Is it any different than how you've dealt with it in the past?
Well, now I went to a support group a little bit ago again just to revisit it, and it really wasn't, I didn't find it helpful. The group was very sad. Their grief was very raw, very new as a parent group, and I really feel like it's been a while now, and it was very hurtful for me to go and to relive that again. So I did go for a month straight, but I didn't stay in that group.
Okay. Is there anything else you've been dealing with? Or anything else that you've done to cope with it recently besides that support group? Do you still rely on your family and your church?
Yes, I do. I'm in different groups at church, but just the same. I have a routine with my daily prayer and Mass on the weekend, and contact with the friendships and fellowship through church as well.
Okay. How has it affected your husband?
Well, when it happened, it was very difficult. They say people who lose a child have a very much higher divorce rate, and we were both so very, very angry. But I think in the long run, it drew us closer, because we had that basis in faith and in a commitment. We weren't going anywhere for divorce. The marriage was there to stay. So we really support each other on days that are sad, or even weeks that are sad, to get over the rough spots.
Okay. And you mentioned a little one, Christopher. How did he deal with Anthony's passing?
Well, he was 3 and a half when Anthony died, which is preschool, pretty important age. He was at school a couple mornings a week, and he just regressed. He was angry. He was as angry as Mark and I were, but he couldn't use the words to get it out. So he was biting, he had trouble with potty training again, he was throwing things in the classroom, he was just acting out behaviors to his grief. So we did meet with a counselor at that time, and he was evaluated, and we were told just love him up, set limits on what he's doing behavior-wise, but that he was going to have to ride this out just like we were going to have to heal. So we did put some things in place with the classroom, and I then became a stay-at-home mom to be at home with Anthony. I'm a nurse, so to be at home with Anthony and his health issues, and then stay at home with Christopher. So that helped with some consistency for him.
Okay. And you think staying at home helped? Did it bring your family closer together, being at home, so you could take care of the little one?
It did. It gave he and I some time, and then as he did get into preschool and eventually kindergarten, it gave me a balance of not being in the house all the time, but being able to stay out of the workforce for a bit longer.
Okay. And have you ever been prescribed any medications to deal with the grief?
No, they did offer some when it happened, and I did not take them up on that offer. But then recently I've had trouble sleeping, so they did write a prescription for a sleeping pill, and I do take that.
Okay. How often are you experiencing these troubles sleeping?
I would say a couple times a year, maybe 4 times a year, but when it does occur, it's 3 and 4 nights in a row. So I know if I'm getting into that cycle, then I can take the sleeping pill, and it will really help me get through the work that I have, full-time career, and rested.
Okay. You mentioned you were a nurse. How has your job affected your dealing with your grief?
Well, I'm an oncology nurse, so I deal with cancer patients and dying every week, which is a great thing. I love my job, but it's also adds to the stress level and layers of kind of compassion fatigue for wearing you down. I rely on kind of what I've always done with family and friends, being able to talk it through, being able to pray about it, being able to strike a balance with working and playing and home life, and then I make sure I have some friendship time built into the week. We also have good teamwork. I have nurses and social workers, and there's the hospital chaplain and other people in oncology that support each other, because that's what really helps on those long shifts.
Okay, and what kinds of things do you do or have you done to honor Anthony's memory?
That's important to both of us. We make cemetery visits together, sometimes alone. We honor specific days as tradition for Memorial Day and birthday. And then we make a donation to the Heart Association every year on his birthday, or around that time. And also there's a flower collection at church at Easter. We make sure we always put something in for Anthony.
Okay. Do you think do you think talking today helped at all?
Absolutely, yes. I think it always helps to get things out in the open and just say them out loud.
Absolutely. Okay, would you care for me to refer you to any other counselors, anybody else to speak with?
I think this has helped today, but I still would like the name and number, because I don't feel like I've worked through it all just yet. That would be great.
Okay, well, I'll be sure to leave you my contact information, so you can feel free to call me anytime. It was great meeting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Molly.